Ann-Margret, who is now 84 years old, has finally revealed the truth about Elvis Presley. Her name at birth was Ann-Margret Olson, and she was born on April 28, 1941, in the little village of Valjoin, which is located in Illand County of Sweden. The early years of Ann-Margret's life were spent in the icy countryside of Sweden, a humble background that was a far cry from the flash and glamour of Hollywood. When she was just 5 years old, she and her mother made the journey to the United States in 1946. They were reunited with her father, who had already established himself in the Chicago metropolitan region. As she was growing up in a different nation, she swiftly adapted to her surroundings and showed early signs of being a natural performer. It was at Northwestern University, where she received her education, that she developed a deep appreciation for the performing arts. It was in this location that her singing and dancing abilities began to garner significant attention, so laying the groundwork for her entry into the entertainment world. George Burns, a great comedian, was the one who first noticed her in the early 1960s, which was the beginning of her breakthrough. He provided her with the opportunity to play in Las Vegas, and shortly after that, Hollywood began to get in touch with her. In 1961, she made her debut in the film Pocket Full of Miracles. In 1963, she was cast in the role of a star-making role in the film By Birdie, where her vivacious performance and seductive voice propelled her to the forefront of the entertainment industry. She recorded a smash record in the same year, which further solidified her position as a rising star in the music industry. Because of her captivating presence on screen, she was cast in parts alongside some of the most iconic figures in the history of film, including Elvis Presley, Viva Las Vegas 1964, Jack Nicholson, Steve McQueen, and John Wayne. Ann-Margret put in a lot of effort to establish herself as a serious actress, despite the fact that she was initially portrayed as a young and lively sexual symbol. Her courageous performance in Carnal Knowledge 1971, in which she co-starred with Jack Nicholson, garnered her a nomination for an Academy Award and was responsible for redefining the public's opinion of her skills. She then went on to play another character that earned her an Oscar nomination, this time in the film adaptation of the Who's rock opera, Tommy 1975. In this role, she provided a chaotic and emotionally dramatic performance that continues to be one of her most talked-about contributions. As her career progressed through the 1980s and 1990s, she was cast in critically lauded roles in television films and comedies such as Grumpy Old Men 1993, which demonstrated that her comedic timing was as keen as it had ever been. In addition to her career in the film industry, Ann-Margret has accomplished a great deal in the world of musical performance. She was able to establish a prosperous recording career because to her seductive and expressive voice, which resulted in the release of several albums during the 1960s and a nomination for a Grammy. She was a vibrant stage presence who went on extended tours, headlining events in Las Vegas and other cities, and she received praise for her electrifying energy and stunning performances. She continued to record and perform well into her senior years, and her musical variety included jazz, pop, and rock. She was also still active in the music industry. The legacy of Ann-Margret is adorned with a multitude of distinctions. She has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards, won 5 Golden Globe Awards, and received an Emmy Award for her performance in Who Will Love My Children. She has also been nominated for 2 Academy Awards. It was 1983. In addition, she was honored with the coveted Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award, which was presented to her in recognition of her long-lasting influence on the arts. In 2010, she was presented with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which was a fitting recognition for a woman who had contributed to the definition of many eras in the entertainment industry. The years passed, but Ann-Margret never slowed down or disappeared from the public eye. She was always in the spotlight. She continued to shine on the big screen long into the final phases of her career, demonstrating that her charisma, talent, and enduring appeal crossed decades. She was extremely successful in the film industry. Alongside the great actors Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, and Sophia Loren, she had a starring role in the charming romantic comedy Grumpier Old Men, which was released in 1995. This film was a sequel to the well-known Grumpy Old Men feature film. Ann-Margret's great comedic timing and dazzling screen presence were on full display in the film, which went on to become profitable at the box office. The film was given a spark by her performance as the vivacious and stylish Ariel Truax, which made her the ideal antithesis to the aging but charming Curmudgeons. Any Given Sunday, a hard-hitting sports drama directed by Oliver Stone, cast her in 1999, marking her debut in a production that was radically different from anything she had ever done before. Ann-Margret played the role of Christina Pagliacci's mother, adding a touch of sophistication and emotional depth to a picture that was propelled by testosterone and high-octane emotions. She appeared on screen with a star-studded ensemble that featured Al Pacino, Cameron Diaz, and Jamie Foxx. Stakes. In spite of the fact that she played a minor role, her gravitas brought a significant amount of depth to a film that explored power, ambition, and human fragility. The year 2004 marked Ann-Margret's return to the theaters with the release of the action comedy Taxi, which starred Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon. Her appearance in this fast-paced urban comedy was a testament to her versatility and willingness to take creative chances, despite the fact that it was a break from the more tragic and romantic characters that she had played in her earlier years. By demonstrating that she could still command attention and bring flair to the screen, she demonstrated that she could do so even in a comic modern action context. It was in 2006 that she made appearances in two significant films, both of which demonstrated her flexibility once more. Within the context of the romantic comedy titled The Breakup, which stars Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn, within the context of the film's investigation of contemporary relationships, Ann-Margret had a little but noteworthy part that helped to anchor the picture. During the same year, she enchanted audiences of all ages with her performance in The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, which was the third episode of the extremely popular Christmas franchise starring Tim Allen. She conveyed a sense of warmth and nostalgia to the audience with her performance in this enchanted holiday film, which brought back memories of the delight she provided to audiences in earlier musicals and family films. During her performance in the indie film Lucky, which was released in 2011, she continued to demonstrate her dedication to the art of storytelling by playing the part of a peculiar residential neighbor. Despite the fact that the picture did not have the same level of success as her earlier blockbusters, it gave Ann-Margret the opportunity to shine in a story that was driven by the characters. This demonstrated that she is capable of portraying people who are deeply human and sympathetic, even in films on a lesser scale. The 1984 television adaptation of A Streetcar Named Desire, in which she played the famous character of Blount Dubois and was directed by John Mann, is considered to be one of the most artistically significant and critically acclaimed works of her latter career. A stage play written by Tennessee Williams in 1947 that won the Pulitzer Prize and is considered to be one of the most respected and emotionally difficult works in American theater. The film was based on the play. Taking on a part that was notably immortalized by Vivien Leigh in the film version that was released in 1951, Ann-Margret offered her own very tragic and emotionally rich interpretation to Blanche, a frail, fading Southern belle who is desperately clinging to dreams of grandeur and dealing with grief of her past. The tenderness, sophistication, and real passion that she offered to the character were commended by both critics and audiences alike, who were impressed by her portrayal. Her performance received widespread recognition. Treat Williams, who played Stanley Kowalski, Beverly D'Angelo, who played Stella Randy Quaid, who played Mitch, and a number of other brilliant actors were featured in the film's supporting cast. Together, these actors created a dramatic and immersive retelling of Williams' tragic masterpiece. The streetcar, known as Desire, was the recipient of numerous accolades, including 4 Emmy Awards and the prestigious Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Miniseries or Movie Picture created for television, which was awarded to Ann-Margret. It is still considered to be one of the most significant and formative performances of her whole career, as a result of her strong presence as a guest star in the long-running and critically acclaimed television series Law and Order, Special Victims Unit. Ann-Margret once again made news in the year 2010. She played a mourning grandma who was entangled in a tale that was both intensely emotional and morally complex, and her interpretation of the character was so compelling that it captured audiences. An Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Drama Series was bestowed upon her as a result of her performance, which was praised for being frightening as well as profoundly emotional. This triumph was not only a recognition of her brilliance in that particular episode, but it was also an homage to her all-encompassing dedication to the trade of acting across a wide range of genres and platforms over her whole life. Ann-Margret made her return to the silver screen in the 2017 comedy Going in Style, which was directed by Zach Braff and starred screen legendary actors Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin. In this film, Ann-Margret continued to defy expectations and combat age-related clichés in Hollywood. She portrayed Annie Santo, a fiery and flirtatious grocery clerk who embodies Arkin's character to the fullest extent possible. The film, which depicts the narrative of 3 elderly people who, after losing their pensions, scheme to rob a bank, was a commercial and critical success once it was released. The performance that Ann-Margret gave was lauded by many for its warmth, humor, and vibrancy, demonstrating once more that her allure was enduring and that her genius was unbounded. Her appearance in the movie not only provided as a reminder of her ability to light up the screen regardless of the genre or the era, but it also introduced a wonderful romance subtext to the proceedings. Ann-Margret embraced the concept of a blended family life with compassion and dedication, taking on the role of stepmother to 3 children who were born to her husband Roger Smith from his previous marriage. Roger Smith, who is well known for his prominent role in the television series 77 Sunset Strip, made the shift from his job in front of the camera to becoming Ann-Margret's devoted manager from within the entertainment industry. Behind the scenes, he expertly oversaw and protected her career, ensuring that her talents were regularly exhibited to their utmost extent. He was a master at what he did. Not only did they have a personal collaboration, but they also had a powerful professional alliance throughout their relationship. The marriage of the couple, which began on May 8, 1967, and continued until Roger's passing on June 4, 2017, endured for an astonishing 50 years. This is an outstanding and uncommon accomplishment in the world of Hollywood, which is frequently fraught with uncertainty. Through Smith's lengthy battle with a crippling neuromuscular disease that gradually impacted his speech and movement in later years, Ann-Margret remained faithful by his side throughout the entirety of their enduring partnership, which was characterized by mutual respect, profound affection, and a shared sense of loyalty. A vivid romantic life that mirrored Ann-Margret's status as one of the most glamorous and sought after women of her era was experienced by her prior to the beginning of her long-lasting love story with Roger Smith. During their brief engagement, she was romantically involved with the singer Eddie Pfizer, who had previously been married to both Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor. As a result, their relationship was the subject of public attention. Additionally, Ann-Margret was temporarily engaged to television producer Burt Sugarman at one point in time. Sugarman is a renowned player in the entertainment world and is known for producing blockbuster series such as The Midnight Special. Her romantic relationship with Elvis Presley, on the other hand, was the one that captivated the public's imagination more than any other aspect of her life. Their undeniable on-screen chemistry paralleled a true off-screen passion with one another, which led to the development of their relationship during the production of the musical Viva Las Vegas, which was released in 1964. Both stars were left with an unforgettable impression as a result of their relationship, despite the fact that it was ultimately not meant to last. In the future, Ann-Margret would talk of Elvis Presley with a great deal of affection and reverence. She would frequently mention his graciousness and sense of humor, as well as the profound connection they enjoyed during a crucial period in both of their careers. Ann-Margret has been lauded not only for her contributions to the film and romantic film industries, but also for her daring and adventurous personality, notably her enthusiasm for motorcycles. She rode a 500cc Triumph T100C Tiger with self-assurance in her 1966 picture, The Swinger, building to her reputation as a daring and courageous performer. This was during a time when very few women, let alone Hollywood actresses, were interested in the culture of motorcycles for entertainment purposes. The scope of her passion for motorcycle riding stretched well beyond the realm of the film industry. Not only did she captivate audiences with her seductive performances, but she also captivated them with her high-energy stage presentations and television specials by using the same model motorcycle, which she had modified in a way that was not typical by installing an electric starter that was not conventional, rides on stage that are daring. She was heavily featured in Triumph's official advertising campaigns during the 1960s, which is a tribute to her crossover appeal between entertainment and pop culture icons. Her love of Triumph motorcycles drew the attention of the company itself, which led to her being featured prominently in Triumph's official advertising campaigns. Even though she had a lot of expertise and talents, her passion for motorcycles came with some dangers. She was riding her motorcycle in a rural area of Minnesota in the year 2000 when she was involved in a major accident that left her with 3 broken ribs and a damaged shoulder. Despite the fact that the event was excruciating and necessitated a considerable amount of time for recuperation, it did not seem to have any effect on her tenacious spirit. Despite the fact that she was injured, Ann-Margret displayed the customary toughness and perseverance that she is known for. She refused to allow the event to define her or to slow down her historically significant career. Her lifelong love of speed, adventure, and the open road continues to be one of the many aspects that contribute to the fact that she is such a singularly engaging and enduring personality in the history of American entertainment. After decades of speculation, romantic mythology, and carefully kept privacy, Margaret finally reveals the truth about Elvis Presley at the age of 84. She does this by revealing the true narrative of their relationship. The intense, passionate, and profoundly emotional relationship that Ann-Margret shared with the King of Rock and Roll is one of the most spoken about chapters in her past. Now, in the twilight of a wonderful life and career, Ann-Margret speaks with both nostalgia and clarity about one of the most talked about chapters of her past. Although they began their relationship in the early 1960s when they were both co-starring in the film Viva Las Vegas, which was released in 1964, the mystery that has surrounded their relationship has never been removed. Ann-Margret, with her breathtaking appearance, magnetic stage presence, and sensuous voice, was swiftly rising to success, and she was frequently described as the female Elvis. At the time, Elvis was already an international legend, and Ann-Margret was quickly climbing to become a star. A highly emotional off-screen connection that was equal parts exhilarating and devastating emerged from what began as on-screen chemistry between two lively and ambitious artists. This transformation occurred very quickly. Through her open and honest recollections, Ann-Margret recalls how their energies naturally connected with one another. Their shared passion for music, their unwavering commitment to their art, their fiery sense of humor, and their profound comprehension of the isolating demands of celebrity were all things that they had in common. She now freely discusses how Elvis was the only person who could make her laugh like he did. The way in which they danced together in private with the same electricity that they shared in front of the cameras, and the way in which they linked not only as lovers but as kindred souls navigating parallel worlds of enormous pressure and public scrutiny. Nonetheless, in spite of the intensity of their connection, their relationship was perpetually overshadowed by Elvis's intricate duties, particularly his long-term romance with Priscilla Bulwer, who would eventually become his wife. Ann-Margret has now admitted that she was aware of the boundaries of their relationship, despite the fact that this did not make it any simpler for her to leave. She contemplates the anguish of being aware of the fact that their love was genuine, but its existence could not be maintained in the face of the expectations of others and Presley's carefully cultivated image. Despite this, she never made a public statement that was harmful to him, not during his lifetime and not in the years that followed his untimely death in 1977. Her lack of speech was not an indication of denial, but rather of profound respect and affection. He was a good person, he had a sense of humor. His spirit was brimming with both song and anguish. She admits it now, her voice becoming more kind as time and recollection have passed. Even after several decades have passed, Margaret's eyes still sparkle with the weight of everything that was left unsaid, all of the songs that were never played between them, and the what-ifs that continue to linger in the pockets of her heart that are quiet. Even after their relationship had ended, she recalls that Elvis continued to bring her flowers in the shape of a guitar whenever she launched a new show in Las Vegas. These flowers were always sent to her in the style of a guitar. It was his way of expressing that he remembered, as well as the fact that certain emotions never go away. They were never thrown away by her. Ann-Margret is now in a position where she is able to speak her truth since she has a lifetime of experience behind her. The purpose of this was not to reveal anything scandalous, but rather to pay tribute to the man she knew behind the image, the person with whom she shared laughter and tears, and who she never truly forgot. At the age of 84, she talks not out of scandal but rather out of grace. It is possible that she is writing a farewell love letter to a guy who danced briefly but vividly through the drama of her life, and she is sharing her memories of Elvis as a present to those who loved him. Just right.